Hello and welcome to the Worst Movie Ever Made, an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind: to find the worst movie ever made. I'm your host, Chris Ackman. I'm joined by my co-host and fellow mad scientist, Rob Scucci and Bob Hassick. Hey guys, how are you and why are we doing this?
I am more than great. I'm thrilled to talk about On Deadly Ground, starring Steven Seagal, which critics have considered The Room to be like the Citizen Kane of bad movies. The Citizen Kane of bad movies.
Yeah.
I think On Deadly Ground is The Room of action movies. So I think it comes full circle.
Actually, I'm hoping that Bob will tell us how he's doing and then give us a little explain the movie for us a little bit, because I did it last week and I'm going to pass it around, I think.
Yeah, so this is a movie that Steven Seagal starred in and directed, which is obvious when you watch it. It's basically, let me see if I can sum this up quickly. It's a man who is sympathetic to the Native American, yet unsympathetic to every other human on the earth. just wants to kill and destroy everyone else.
That is true.
This was absolutely atrocious in every way, and we subjected ourselves to this because Chris loves a train wreck.
I do. Yep. He like operates explosions at rigs. I don't. What does he do? I don't really understand his job. I thought I'd get that out of the way because we're not going to talk about it too much. But like, he goes in as a specialist and controls the explosion when the rig is about to blow. I don't really get it.
He's the only guy that can fix oil rigs. Yet he's also the most deadly like ex-CIA agent ever to exist.
Yeah, so my understanding is when rigs blow up, they explode, and I think he makes like a controlled implosion. So he minimizes the he's like a PR pawn for Aegis Oil, because he lowers the amount of collateral damage that happens when their faulty equipment explodes and wrecks the environment.
Which is crazy that you would even need a guy to do that. That might, draw a question. Like, hey, are they using faulty equipment? Because why are their rigs blowing up so much that they need a specialist to control the explosions? It's just... So anyway, Steven Seagal controls explosions for Aegis Oil, Michael Caine's company, and then he realizes that there's some mischief afoot, and he goes on and kills everyone. And that's the movie. I just wanted to explain it. So everyone knows.
He's awesome on every front. There's nothing wrong with him. He's just so badass and so cool and so redeemable in every way. That's a through line in every movie he does. He can't have any flaws. He can't be a complex character. Anywho.
Well, I'm glad to hear you guys are doing well, and that is the plot for you. So let's throw it to YouTube.
Sure. Okay, so I got a few. This one's a call and response. First comment is, Steven Seagal always has this "I'm constipated" look on his face, LOL. And then the reply is all one word, no spaces, "on dead ground."
Ground?
Just on the ground. All caps. Another one of my favorite movies of Steven Seagal. Thank you, YouTube. And YouTube is hyphenated. Next one. Finally saw this after Fanboy Flick's review of it. It's not a terrible movie, and it has some cool moments in it. And I think it was a bit heavy-handed in its messaging, but overall, it's decent. Earth is our grandmother. It's so awesome to see real native people in this movie. Keep on living your life. And then I have one more, and it's for bingo card purposes. In case anyone was wondering, yes, this is the movie that South Park was making fun of when they referenced it in the episode, like when Randy is wearing the same jacket as Steven Seagal, and Man Bear Pig comes from this movie when they say Man Bear.
Yeah, I was thinking about Man Bear Pig when they say Man Bear, which is really funny.
And the overlogging episode, if we don't treat the internet with the respect
If quick question, if Earth is our grandmother, then who is our mother? America?
Mother
Middle Earth.
America's our mother.
America. Yeah.
Mothers.
Okay.
I like it.
All right, got it. All right, let's start to test number one, the worst of its kind.
Sure.
think he might have a really big load of grumpy, petrified poop up your soul's ass.
Which is the worst of its kind?
Under Siege, Seagal, maybe his best movie, a 79.
Okay.
Yes.
Hard Target, something we know something about. Why, Rob?
Because that was, if you go to www.theworstmovieevermade.com, in one of our earlier seasons, we do talk about Hard Target, starring Wilfred Brimley and Jean-Claude Van Damme. I gave Wilfred top billing because he carried the show.
Make you Jack Rabbit slap the bear. JCVD is 60% there. True Lies with Arnie, a 70. Demolition Man, another one we've done. Stallone and Snipes, that one came in at 62. We did that because a fan and friend suggested it for the pod, so take that as a suggestion, you out there in the audience. If you want to email us a movie you want us to do, you also must make fun of us in the email. We'll do it.
Yes.
And then the Equalizer with Denzel, a 60%, giving us an outrageous average of 66.2. Do either of you know the score this week? That's been a trend this season.
I don't. But
no. But I'm gonna go float around the 20s. I'll say 22.
Okay.
I'm going based on the YouTube comments. I only snippeted a few of them, but this was I got my comments off the paid one, the one you have to like buy or rent on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they were overwhelmingly positive. And like anybody that talked about the cheese mentioned that, you know, but it was just a product of its time. It's still a great movie. So I'm gonna say like 40, 47.
Okay. All right. 12.
Jeez.
Yeah, really rough season so far for Rotten Tomatoes, and negative 54.2, and the worst of its kind. That is around the average for every fucking movie we've done this season, guys, because the season seemed to get worse and worse as we go. We'll see how that compares to Leonard Part 6, our current season champion. Later, for now, we're going to summarize the movie once more, but this time with a little more fun. And test number 2, Ain't That a Pitch? Test number 2.
Oh, hi, Mark. This is the beginning of a scene. We talk about the movie, make the movie about the movie. In this case, The Room.
Ain't that a bitch? Okay, I'll go first. I went last time. Does that seem fair?
Go for it.
Yeah.
I'm not like super thrilled, mine. Forrest Taft can become invisible. The chances of you beating him, minuscule. He's got all the guns. Looks good when he runs. I think Steven Seagal thinks he's invincible.
Okay. You want to go, Bob, or you want me to go?
I'll go.
Okay.
There once was a man who was named Steve, whose acting skills were meant to deceive. Bad taste and poor choices, Rotten Tomatoes score decreases. 100 minutes of my life were thieved.
Okay. There once was a man who ran funny, taking down the man with oily money. He types like a doofus when he raids the computers, but still, the entire time, he's kind of scummy.
He is kind of scummy.
I'm going Rob 4.
I'll agree. I'll agree to that.
All right.
Rob 4-star. Very nice, Rob. It was the opening, the ran funny thing for me. I think I really enjoyed that.
Arms by his side. I think I mentioned it before. There's a Seinfeld episode where like Elaine gets criticized for like not moving
her
her
dancing.
Arms when she
Oh
walks.
yeah.
And like she's going through physical therapy to like learn to swing her arms like a regular person. And meanwhile, there's a guy, like a crippled guy, like trying to learn to walk again next to her, but like they're highlighting her struggle instead of his. It reminds me of that every time.
That's messed up. All right, test number 3. Speaking of which, the most offensive.
Yeah. Hey, do you guys want to talk about all the offensive parts that we witnessed in this movie?
In a few minutes, bitch.
It's Inuits, not Eskimos. They're still saying Eskimos in this movie. So
yes.
It's just funny to listen to. Wanton destruction of a small business. The bar owner asks Steven Seagal's character not to destroy the bar, and he does it anyway while beating up all of the oil workers who are, in my opinion, probably innocent of anything but defending their friends.
Yep.
One fucking loudmouth, and boys, that seem funny. We'll talk about that at length later. So the guy from Scrubs, you know, the one that with like no upper lip. I think everyone knows that actor's name except for me.
I think I know, is Dr. Kelso on Scrubs?
I don't know. I
you're
never watched
No,
Scrubs.
not Kelso. Yeah, Kelso's the older guy.
Oh shit, yeah, you're right. I know who you're talking about though.
It's like a
Yeah.
short name. It's like Ray or Ron or
Yeah.
Dan or something like that. Anyway, he is guilty of tapping the tribal chief. He shoots the chief of the tribe,
Yes.
Yeah.
the Inuit tribe, for what? He like defends himself by saying that they attacked him. Obviously, they did not. I don't think the movie needed to go there to make him any more evil because he had already like cut the guy's fingers off or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, just so that Seagal is more just in beating him up later and killing him or whatever. Okay, bear with me on this one. Number 4. I'm just gonna have to explain this one. Sometimes I just can't help myself. Seagal's Sexcimo bear battle spirit walk.
Sexcimo.
I like it.
It was so weird, man. I'm telling you, like it was like one of those out of focus like dream sequences, and he's stabbing a bear in the back, and then he's in like a hut with a bunch of like naked Inuits, Eskimos in this movie, and he's like thinking about banging them, but he's like strangely asexual in his movies, even though he's like groping everybody on set. And it was kind of a spirit walk, and it was really weird and dumb, and I thought it was offensive, and I hated it. So
Was that before or after he gets like thrown like a rag doll by a bear into the river?
That's well, so he stabbed the bear a few times in the back. He like tackled it and stabbed it.
Yeah. It's just like
the amount of nudity in this film was like almost shocking.
Yeah,
considering
it's totally unnecessary. Well, I kind of alluded to this already, but when he is at the rig later, he is number 5, annihilating innocent oil workers.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
these guys are just trying to get by and do their fucking job, you know, and he's just beating them senseless or killing them, literally.
It's one of the many contradictions in this movie because like they're the salt of the earth working class guys that are just like they're not involved in the evil that's being orchestrated around them. They're just like trying to make an honest buck.
Well, this is probably to your point and to Bob's, because he was alluding to this as well. But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that he would kill the oil engineers. But also, why is he just running up and stabbing a bear? Aren't we supposed like the tribal chief is talking about bears like bears were made by the Raven to defend the land from men?
Yeah.
So like bears in this movie are supposed to be the protectors of the land, like us men who are no longer afraid of the bear, and he is one of them because he's running up and stabbing. I just the bear was supposed to be a force for good, I thought, in this movie, and he's trying to kill one, and I just didn't get it.
Well, they tried to redeem the bear thing. I totally agree, but they tried to redeem the workers thing by at one point during the final big scene, he like tells a bunch of workers, "Get out of here! It's gonna blow." I'm like, "Yeah, those guys you saved." Like I just didn't get it.
You just don't have time to kill them.
After you kill 150 men.
I don't have time to kill you. Get out of here.
I'll kill you later.
Number 6, Helli-chopping henchmen. I think this is what happened to the guy from Scrubs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they're having the fist fight, and then he just throws him into the helicopter blade, a la Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade, I believe it was.
That was the first Indiana Jones.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and 28 weeks later
Raiders of the
as
Lost
well.
Ark. Oh, really?
Yeah, when they're running from the zombies in the final scene, they're driving the helicopter, they tilt it forward, and it's like,
Okay,
level,
well, yeah.
like 40 people.
Number 7, blowing a big oil rig to escape an environmental emergency. Explain that one to me.
Yeah.
Rob, you had said this in our text stream, but what good does it do? Like, how do you prevent an environmental collapse if by he said something about like converting the preventers from spilling oil, but what does that matter when you like blow up the entire place? I feel like that doesn't.
We keep getting into catch-all territory, but yeah, it's like his job in the beginning of the film is to control oil rig explosion, is to minimize the damage, and then in the final act, he just destroys the oil rig.
The biggest one ever made. according to Michael Caine's character.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something that we're going to be like FEMA is going to be working on for the next 10 years after that.
Right.
Yeah.
To save the wildlife. Thanks to Steven Seagal. All right, that's all I have. You guys want to mention anything else you found offensive about this movie that I didn't mention?
It's all catch all for me, but you go ahead, Bob.
Michael Caine had one that I thought you would have got. He when he comes across Seagal late in the movie, he's with the girl who is kind of Asian looking.
Oh, yep.
And he calls her a slope, which is really bad.
My God.
Nice.
I did not catch that. Jesus Christ. Okay, well, there's that. That's going to go into a mini game of the future if it wins.
Yeah.
That's got to rank up there.
It's up there.
Oh
with
my
Hard
God.
Yeah.
No, I did not catch that. Holy shit.
We should have an episode called Hard Arget. Just go through casual racism.
Oh man, from such surprising movies like Hot to Trot and Ice Pirates, I feel like is another one that said some really awful shit. All right, test number 4, the worst dialogue.
Do you like what you see? Would you like to touch what you see? Would you like to go out with me? Would you like to fuck me?
Just the worst dialogue.
No one has ever said that ever. I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on it. I never won't be. We need a new season, so that's not a bumper anymore.
Yeah.
All right, let's start slow with number 5. It's a secret.
Our man in D.C. finds nothing on this guy before 1987, which means either he was born fully grown, or his background is so top secret, it doesn't even flag top secret when you run his jacket.
That's beautiful. Why, what's the matter? What's that supposed to mean?
If I had to guess, I'd say it means he's company.
Company? Oh, now Forrest have to spin the CIA? I don't think so.
CIA, NSA maybe, DOD.
Oh, whatever he is, he's a damn problem.
He's just too good. He's too
I know.
good.
That's just a taste. That's just a taste of how many times did Steven Seagal need to do this? It's like definitely in the way that Bill Cosby was with Leonard, only like he knows he's projecting. Like he wants to be such a badass. For some reason, in every Steven Seagal movie, you don't learn about his secret military history until later in the movie. But this one, it took a long time to find out exactly who he is and what he does, or if you ever do, really.
Yeah.
But I just love those, like, okay, characters need to now. Imagine when you get your script and your what's the drill sergeant guy's name? Do you guys remember?
And his character name or his actual name?
Guy,
his actual name. Yeah, the full metal guy.
Arlie Ermy.
Arlie Ermy, thank you. Imagine if you're Arlie Ermy and you read the script and you know that you're going to have to read these lines about Steven Seagal as written by someone who is a yes man to Steven Seagal, the director of the movie. Like how hard you're rolling your eyes. I'd have trouble resetting my eyes after rolling them after reading the script. Yeah. It's got to be so hard to deliver lines like that about the person, the star of the movie who's directing it, writing that about himself. I mean, let's be real. It's Steven Seagal with his hands all over this.
One of the scenes Arlie Ermy is reading is he's reciting the lines about Seagal, and it looks like he's reading it off a screen.
Yeah.
Like,
we may get to that in just a moment.
Okay.
This goes to what I said about like movies from the 80s and 90s. They didn't have the foresight to realize that like all the shit would be archived for everyone to watch whenever they want.
Right.
And, like, I feel like when people take these gigs, they're like, I'll get some shit for like 3 months when it's in the theater, and then people will forget about it. And then like we remembered it. So
here we are. All these long years later. 1929. What is it? 29 years ago?
Yeah. I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Ugh, gross. Okay, number 4. Yarg. Impossible.
Another good one.
This one's for you, Rob.
Mr. Jennings, I thought you wanted us to kill this motherfucker. How are we supposed to shoot him with all these cops standing around here, huh? I don't think so.
Magruder, it is essential we have the FBI here to cover ourselves legally. And it sure as hell will help with the press. They'll take the fall for anything that happens.
Look, don't worry about the FBI. We all know they couldn't find a hooker in a whorehouse anyway.
I mean, seriously, this guy'd have to be fucking out of his mind to try to get in this place now.
Then we should count on that, Mr. Magruder. Forrest Taft is the patron saint of the impossible. And if only you'd done your job as you're supposed to, it wouldn't have come to this.
Patron saint of the impossible.
Who wrote that fucking line?
Steven Seagal wrote that
Yeah,
in a bathrobe in his like candlelit study with a feather. We all know this to be true.
He was like getting his movies mixed up, and he's like, "I'm the patron saint of the impossible, Senator Trent."
Yeah, and then he goes to bed, blows a candle out, and kisses like an 8 by 11 foot portrait of himself before rolling over and going to sleep.
And then he rolls over and kisses the one he has in bed next to him. Okay, so you may be sensing a theme for the dialogue here. Let's throw it to number 3. This one's he.
He says it was nothing. He thought you were a bear. He still thinks you might be a bear. He hasn't decided yet.
No. You tell him I'm a mouse. Hiding from the hawks in the house of a raven.
He says that's just what a bear would say. He says you sound like a bear too.
Is that what a bear sounds like?
Yeah.
Not one I've ever heard.
I've seen The Revenant. That's exactly what they sound like.
My favorite part of those exchanges is when Seagal's thinking of what to say back, and he's like, "Tell him I said thanks."
Yeah, I clipped that one and then decided not to because I had so many others. Yeah, he's like, "You will redeem the world and the land from the horrible man. You will be the bear spirit, and you will conquer, the guns and whatever." And he's like, "Thank you," and tell him I said goodbye. It's so awesome. Yeah. Number 2. Essence.
What does it take? What does it take to change the essence of a man? I need time to change. Time. I do too.
We'll have to give you a ride home.
Thank you, my brother. We're about to go on a sacred journey. This journey will be good for all people. But you must be careful.
Right.
See, so just to give you some context, YouTube as well. The guy's nose is bleeding that he's talking to in the beginning. He just kicked the shit out of that guy. And then, and then he's like, he poses a lot of these philosophical questions that really have no substance, but according to Steven Seagal, they do. You know, it's what's what's his face? Dan. I want to say Dan. It's not Dan Carlin. Anyway, I'm gonna get lost in it. There's a guy who is quoted as saying deepities. It's one of those like things that sounds deep but it isn't. It's a deepity.
Right.
He has like 4 deepities in this fucking movie where he. But this one's one of my favorite, where he's like, "What is the essence of a man? How do you change the essence of a man?" And then the biker bar dude, who's just been, had his ass kicked, is like, "I need time to change." Like he's not pissed anymore. He's just like, "Please don't beat me up," I guess. So it's not a real scenario in any sense. No one would ever say what Steven Seagal is saying, and that guy would continue to try to beat you up or like call his friends to beat you up, or it's like, most preposterous thing, but it's Seagal.
There's a great deepity. I never heard that phrase, but Yogi Berra, former Yankee player,
Yeah.
he was full of those. My favorite is when there's a fork in the road, take it.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's a good deepity.
Yeah.
Do them all.
I want to say this line was actually lifted from like a cosmetic commercial or like a cologne commercial in the 80s. Like they actually had the line like, how do you change the essence of a man? And they took that from that.
With Drakkar Noir.
Gillette tried it again a few years ago too.
That was definitely my favorite DPD. I'm gonna leave it though. I'm not gonna mention any more in case I clip them. I don't remember. All right, number
1, Daddy.
And the drum roll.
You know what? Fuck it.
Rob, I say we do this one twice because I did not understand it after
How
one
about
play.
this? I didn't know the clips yet, but I wanted to do something new. Instead of doing the theme song on the way out, I was going to play us out with the clip instead. Moving forward, maybe this will be the one to be the inaugural version of that.
Okay, beautiful. Because I did not understand it until my like third playthrough. All right. Anyway, this one's called Pesos.
We think we got a fucking fire team out there.
My guy in DC tells me that we are not dealing with the student here. We're dealing with the professor. Anytime the military has an operation that can't fail, they call this guy in to train the troops, okay? He's the kind of guy that would drink a gallon of gasoline so he could piss in your campfire. You could drop this guy off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without his toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon he's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos. This guy's a professional, you got me? If he reaches this rig, we're all going to be nothing but a big goddamn hole right in the middle of Alaska. So let's go find him and kill him and get rid of the son of a bitch.
To your point, Bob, he definitely read that off a cue card.
What is he? What are we talking about? I mean, it took me seriously. It took me like 3 playthroughs to understand. Like, you drop him off at the Arctic Circle in a bikini bottom and no toothbrush. He's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos. Steven Seagal wrote that.
It makes less sense now.
Yeah, I think maybe the first time I heard it was the most sensical.
And this is when he rolls out of bed and like 1,000 Polaroids of himself just like slide off onto the floor.
Yeah, and then he writes into his journal the thing he just dreamt, which was that line. Oh my god, insane. All right, Rob, let's do your ad read.
Oh, this is timely. Here we go.
Hi, kids. It's me, Ronald McDonald, and I'm on the set of my very first motion picture ever. It's a movie called Mac and Me, and it stars my little friend from outer space here. His name is Mac, and I want to introduce you to him. Mac?
Rob's ad read.
Today's episode of The Worst Movie Ever Made is brought to you by Aegis Essential Oils. Aegis Essential Oils are a surefire way to make your skin glow, your hair shine with a majestic luster, and your gut sing the national anthem at Fenway like an angel on free hot dog night. With Aegis Essential Oils, you can get dropped off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without your toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon you'll be able to show up poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos. Aegis Essential Oils, slither your way into wellness.
Oh my god, that's perfect. Awesome. Glad to have you, Aegis Essential Oils.
Yes.
Aegis.
They rebranded
Ageless.
Wellness.
Ageless Essential Oils by Aegis Essential Oils. All right, Bob, take it away in test number 5, the worst production.
The Worst Movie Ever Made presents the worst production.
You feel the lottery. You call yourself an animator. You can't even draw stick figures. Your cartoons aren't even funny enough to be on the Family Channel. You stink.
Hey guys, just came by to pick up the finished film.
All right.
I talked about this over text at first, and we've mentioned this already, I think, twice today. We're not even halfway through. It is a faulty morality arc.
It is.
Yes.
That is the tag. So there was an introduction to the character of Seagal protecting a native tribesman in a bar. Remember that?
Yes.
Yep.
Then, a few frames later, he accepted the entire religion and basis of nature of the native tribe.
Yes.
Then, very soon after that, destroyed any person, whether a threat or not a threat, whether they pointed a gun at him or not. It was a backwards morality slope, and I hated it.
Did you say slope?
Intentional.
It just watching more Steven Seagal movies as the more and more we do the show just makes the Will Sasso Mad TV skits that much.
Oh my
more
god,
funny.
They're more accurate. The more of these we watch.
Like, I knew he was like making fun of an action star who's a little like kind of dim-witted, but like when you now that we're getting the full scope of Steven Seagal, like it's just those bits land so much harder now.
It's fucking amazing.
Like he killed everyone on Earth basically and destroyed an oil rig, and then he's talking at a press conference like he's the authority on morality.
Yeah, the beacon of ethics. I don't know. It's weird, but like I don't know if I wrote this in the catch-all. I don't remember, but he's, and I did say it in the pitch, but he's invincible, right? I mean, not only is he, taking out every single person at the oil rig as if they're a murderer, like they deserve to die, but no one can stop him in any movie, and that doesn't just kind of release the tension immediately. Like when you see Steven Seagal in the billing in the beginning, there's not going to be any tension. He's just going to kill everybody and win.
The thing I learned about Steven Seagal is he's not the hero, he's the protagonist. That's how I'd put it.
Yeah, all right, that's fair. Not to us. He thinks he's the hero though.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Test number 6: the worst acting.
Not hit her. It's not true. It's bullshit. I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Just the worst acting.
Oh man. So the reason we were talking about that bar fight earlier where he's just beating up a bunch of like oil guys, even though they're just friends, defending friends. See if you can catch the title of this clip in the clip with number 1. My nuts.
I went a little longer on one of the clips on this because I felt like it was necessary. I'm not sure which one it was, so I don't remember.
Okay.
Well, let's see. That's natives 8 and oil workers 0. Anybody else want to play with Cupcake?
No, you're mine.
Hey, buddy, don't be fucking with oil workers, huh?
You're a man, right?
This guy doesn't have a fucking clue.
Are you a man?
Am I a man? Yeah, come on, man. I got a big pair of balls right between my legs.
Did you use those to beat up on this little native man? Big balls? Okay. We're gonna play a little game. We'll play the hand slap game. One man leaves the circle. I miss, you get a shot. You miss, I get a shot.
All right, I'll play your game. You play my game.
I'll play your game afterwards if I'm still standing. Because I might not be. Because you're a tough guy, you're a man. And you got big balls.
All right.
Am I the only one that wanted to see the guy's game?
Yeah.
We played the hand slap game. I want to know what the other guy's game was. I like bar brawl games.
It's like a 3-hour rousing game of Trivial Pursuit. They're just sitting there like going around the board.
The part of this movie I thought was the funniest was in this scene was one of them when you can like hear these little things shouted out during the scene.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
The press conference scenes were so funny. They have like Michael Caine in front of all the press, and you hear just out of the blue like, if you were us, you'd understand. Like all these like little weird things.
Yeah, but even in these bar scenes, they're like, They don't know. This guy doesn't know about Forrest, does he?
Yes, that's the one.
like everybody at the bar, except for this like bar patron, doesn't know how much he's going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody knows how tough Forrest is.
And to your point with the most offensive Chris, where like she's like, please don't break anything, and immediately he throws someone through the fucking jukebox.
Yeah, the jukebox, which is like $500 back then.
That's like $5,000.
Back then, yeah. And then each table is like $100. He breaks chairs, he breaks glasses. Like he cost his lady like $4,000, easy. Yeah. All right, number 2, ovulate.
There'll be a written statement. Thank you. Wait a minute. Things are never going to be the same. Aegis Oil always wants to talk about acceptable levels of this and acceptable levels of that. But the people here want to talk about the poisons in their environment that weren't here before Aegis Oil came to town. We want to talk about the increased rates of skin cancer, women who fail to ovulate, and when they do, they give birth to abnormal babies. What about that's what the tribal council wants to talk about.
Is this the same tribal council who sold its oil and mineral rights to my company 20 years ago?
Thank you very much. The same tribal council, sir, that will get those rights back 12 days from the day when you don't make the startup deadline for Aegis 1.
We'll make the deadline.
We'll see about that, Mr. Jennings.
Is that a threat, Mr. Itak?
Blood of all people is upon you, Mr. Jennings.
What is it, Larson?
It's oil.
Oh, thank God. This is a new fucking suit.
Michael Caine should not have had to volley with any of these people. Like that dude, I don't know where they got him from. He's just like a native from where they're shooting.
He was the worst actor in the whole movie.
Oh, he was horrendous. I had to clip him. I couldn't help it. I knew, I was thinking to myself, like, he's inconsequential, really. So why clip him? But I had to. He's that bad. Like, they should not have included him. And they shouldn't have made Michael Caine volley with him, because it just demonstrates a real actor from whoever that guy is, that they were just like, he looks native enough. I don't know.
So I'm familiar enough with Michael Caine. He's in one of my favorite Nicolas Cage movies, Weatherman. That's a fantastic.
Oh, I love Michael Caine. He's great.
But where was he at in his career at this point? Like, was this like a contractual obligation that he clearly didn't want to do, or like was he like looking for work still?
No, I mean, this is not the end all be all movie. But have you seen Muppet Christmas Carol?
No, Chris, I have not seen Muppet Christmas Carol.
He plays Scrooge. Okay, that's a big role.
I don't know what year that was. Awesome. I just don't know like the timeline of his career.
No, I'm sure he's an established actor at this point.
All
right. Totally. I want to say he like
80s, 70s, probably.
The 70s was his heyday, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but I mean, he's in so many movies. Even now, he's still acting.
He was actually second in line for this movie. He was Jeremy Irons turned it down.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
He was originally cast.
I just find it weird that like he took this role. There had to have been like a contractual, like a 3-picture deal, and this was the third.
Yeah,
picture.
right. One of those, like the studio had him on the hook anyway.
Yeah.
They're like, we'll just cash him in. I would wait. I would never let. That's like playing a Michael Caine like rookie card.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to how studios work, Seagal's movies made money before this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no question. They made money.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
So
they were smaller budget, right?
Yeah.
The bigger the budget got, the less money they made, until the point where he was like not making any money. And I wonder. Go ahead.
They probably give you like room for like 3 or 5 flops before they finally call it quits too.
Oh, they definitely do.
It still turns the franchise around, you know.
Yeah, it depends on the rocket. Like, depends on the rocket that you were. Depends on how far out of the stratosphere you blew.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Stallone and Arnold probably had so much more leeway than Seagal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just said, yeah. So, all right. Anyway, number 3. I only call it this because it's in the clip, but 2, it's a movie we've done. Where can they find Hocus Pocus, Ron?
Hocus Pocus 2 at www.theworstmovieevermade.com.
It is Hocus Pocus 2. All right. Anyway, number 3, take it away with Hocus Pocus.
Have you learned anything from my father?
What do you want me to learn, Masu? Huh? I mean, do you really think that this hocus pocus spirit stuff is going to help us now? What do you think? Some angel is going to miraculously come down out of the sky and stop, say, 350 billion tons of oil from being spilled into our oceans every year? Maybe some ghost will stop all the cars from using gasoline. Maybe somehow some spirit will trip the big switch and all the technology that's been repressed for the last 70 years will suddenly be ours and it'll be a better place to live, a beautiful place. Maybe I should send my spirit guide over to Aegis 1 to stop it from going online so the Jennings can't fuck you and your people out of your land and your way of life forever. See, I love the spirit world and I loved your father, but it doesn't matter right now. What really matters is the cold, hard reality of this world, and that's what we got to deal with. I didn't want to resort to violence. I don't have a choice, and I'm not taking any chances this time, because I can't.
It's another corrupt morality moment where, like, is he or is he not, like, on board with the spirit helping him achieve his goal? I really don't have a clue.
Right, they just wiped clean that entire segment of the movie.
Right there.
Yeah. And my biggest issue with this, the acting's terrible. That's why it's in worst acting. But this takes place over like 13 days, right? Give or take.
Yeah, right, because of the deadline. Yep.
Yeah, so
I have 13 days, and then the rig goes up, so it must be 13 days.
When he says "I loved your father," like all, he's like implying that like, he's lived with them for years, and he learned their ways, and he became one of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he was probably with them for like 4 days.
Yeah, it hasn't been 2 weeks. It hasn't even been a week.
And half the time he was gravely injured, not even having his vision quest. So like, I love your father. I love the spirit world. Like, you were there for like a fucking not even like a full week.
Rob, one of the hidden gems of our podcast, I think, is the like clip that we never clipped of you delivering the samurai cop like Swiss bank accounts thing. Can you give me a sample of that? Do you remember any more of it? Because that's what it reminded me of.
You guys have millions of dollars in your offshore oil accounts, eating off of death and disorder. Well, these honest working Chinamen are like, I don't fucking remember.
These honest working non-normies or
non-trying really hard. That's making me look real bad. Cool. Anyhow.
Yeah, it reminded me of the samurai cop monologue where he's like pointing the finger, at the mafia boss or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's another PSA, which is really weird. Let's not talk about the PSA. We'll do that later.
Cool.
Speaking of which, though, and this last clip of the day, number 4, Scum of the Earth.
This is the one I made go longer, by the way.
All right, cool. I trust
you. I've been thinking about this for a long time. What does one say to a man with no conscience? I'd like to tell you about the millions of people that you've made suffer, but I'd be a total idiot to think that you'd care. You're a piece of shit, Michael. Scum of the earth.
I don't know what you did with my rig, Forrest. But whatever it was, I want you to stop it. Turn it off. I'm leaving.
I got a better idea.
You're a macho man with a coat of honor. You won't shoot me in the back. Go ahead! Shoot me! Go on! Shoot me, you fucking coward! You haven't got the fucking guts!
I wouldn't dirty my bullets.
You macho asshole! Go ahead, shoot!
Dirty work for me, Forrest. This is for my father.
I had to keep the scream in. Like, you were like 10, 15 seconds shorter than that. I'm like, I know,
Yeah.
we need that. We need that.
It was nice. It was a good long stream. I actually was debating it, but it was like a minute long or a minute 15, and I was like, we'll cut it in a minute.
I was hoping for an epilogue where Michael Caine was on the shore being washed off by a rescue worker.
Dawn.
like the ducks.
They just dip a like already struggling duck into a vat of Dawn, just start scrubbing his face with it.
I love when he says, "I wouldn't dirty my bullets."
Yeah.
But it's another one of those questions. It's a deepity where he's like, "How much is enough?" How much is enough, Michael Caine? No, that's not his name. Mr. Jenners.
Right, whatever his name was.
How
Who
much
cares?
is enough, Michael Caine? All right, let's throw it back to Bob in Fact or No Fact. See if Chris can go for 4. 4.
Fact or no fact?
Money now and a lot more when I get in that office. I can take that to the bank.
Take you to the bank. I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent. Blood bank.
Dun 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 dun. All right. Here we are with Fact or No Fact this week. This Fact or No Fact was for the movie On Deadly Ground, and I couldn't think of anything else, so I said I am ready to be drowned.
Well, that's fine.
This is a hard one. So I listened to the last week's episode and I totally fucked up the intro, and that's why you guys were so confused. I apologize. We have 4 facts and 1 lie. That's
One
the
lie.
way the way it works.
I'm gonna
One
write
lie.
that down because I always have a Freudian slip. 1 lie. Okay.
I drove that last week. I apologize.
All good.
Okay, so the first fact or no fact is Steven Seagal's. This is his only directorial effort. Okay,
Okay.
second one.
Okay.
Seagal insisted on filming a sex scene with him and the female lead, though it was eventually cut from the final release. Okay, third one. The cast of this movie includes 3 Oscar winners. All right, the fourth one. The working title of this movie was originally Rainbow Warrior. And lastly, the director of the commercial, remember the really quick like PSA commercial that Michael Caine's character was in? That was actually the director of The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So let's see if you can figure out what the lie is.
Shows what I know because I thought the director of Empire Strikes Back was George Lucas.
No, I think he gave up the reins, I think.
Yeah, no, I think he just executive producer, whatever. I'm leaning towards his only directorial effort because I want to say he dipped his wiggly little wiener in many pots. I also call bullshit on the insisted on filming a sex scene, but Bob, you're implying that they filmed it and then just never put it in the final cut.
Is that right, Bob? Is that what you're implying?
Yes.
Okay.
Because to who I forget which one of you guys said it earlier, but like even though he gropes people on the set, he's pretty like he likes his characters being like virtuous and not succumbing to their baser urges. So I don't find that believable based on that thing you guys just said off the cuff. That may or may not.
He did it in Hard to Kill.
Did he? I think so. Never mind. There goes that. Okay. Include 3 Oscar winners. That's believable. Rainbow Warriors, also believable. And until 40 seconds ago, I thought George Lucas directed The Empire Strikes Back. So, I'm going to go with my gut and say number 1. I think that's the lie. I think he's directed more things since or before. Because, like, either he successfully had directed in the past, and that's why they let him do it again, or, like, this was, like, the beginning of his descent, and he's going, oh, my movies are tanking. Maybe I should get behind the camera more so than in front of it. I'm going to go number 1, though. I still think, yeah, I think that's a lie. I think he's directed more things.
I assume he's directed some of the really, really shitty movies that have come out of late with, like, his own money and stuff. So I don't know why I feel like it's good Bob foolery to throw out that he would direct like a sex scene with the girl that he finds attractive. And I have a catch-all joke that I'm not going to ruin yet about that. So I'm guessing that's the good Bob foolery of the episode. I think Arlie Ermey, Michael Caine, and Billy Bob Thornton probably have all won Oscars. I don't believe it was called Rainbow Warrior. I don't believe that Steven Seagal would call a movie Rainbow Warrior, and it didn't really have a lot to do with rainbows. All right, I'm gonna go with the Rainbow Warrior.
All right, so Seagal happened to produce quite a few movies, but this was his only directorial.
Oh, that's where I screwed the pooch. Okay.
Sorry, Rob.
I don't care.
So, I'm with you on that. That would make the most sense because I would think he directed a ton of the straight-to-video stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Same. That's why I was like nodding very heavily when Rob was saying that.
I made up the second one because I thought of Hard to Kill when he had
Bob
that
Foolery.
weird sex scene.
I knew it.
I made that completely up.
I knew it.
The Oscar winners, though, you're gonna love this one. It was Michael Caine. It was Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah,
and it was the bar owner. She was the Oscar winner. She was uncredited.
Grease
She
2.
won her Oscar for Cuckoo's Nest movie.
Oh, okay.
Shit. All right.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
She was nurse. She was nurse.
Orderly. Yeah. Okay.
So R. Lee Ermey doesn't have an Oscar then?
No, he does not.
Well, he's dead. And sorry.
Yeah. The working title of this movie actually was Rainbow Warrior.
God damn it! So that was the commercial,
and that
director.
was the
fucking
Empire Strikes Back.
Fuck.
That was the Empire Strikes Back director. That threw me. I'm like, well, Rob, I'm not 100% with you. I knew Lucas didn't direct almost any of them. I don't think. Yeah. But
the first. Yeah,
I definitely thought it was to be someone who I didn't recognize. But it was like,
yeah, right.
That was the guy.
Yeah,
and he did almost nothing else noteworthy. That was like the only big one he did that was actually good.
Well, why? I mean, I would trust it if he did Empire Strikes Back. That's the best Star Wars movie,
right?
Literally,
yeah.
And that's one we did. Where, Rob?
www.theworstmovieevermade.com. That's one of our good movie episodes at the end of season. I don't know. We're on season like 17 now. I think we keep losing count.
17. Yeah.
But that was like season 16 or 14 or 3 or something. So
3. All right. Well, I won 3 out of 4, so I'm still a winner.
Yeah.
Fucking Rainbow Warrior. Where'd you come up with that?
That was for real, man.
Oh yeah, true. That's a fact. Where did they come up with that?
It was actually a second. It was a second working title, but Rainbow Warrior is what the original name actually was.
No way, that's fucking crazy.
There was probably some line at some point in some iteration where they're like, "The bear is the warrior of the rainbow, and you need to get out of the
probably
falcon's nest to drain the rooster," or whatever the fuck they said.
Man, I'm gonna have to drain the rooster after this podcast for sure. But take that as you will. Let's throw it to the catch-all.
Time to have a little bit of fun with the catch-all. We're gonna get our little nets. We're gonna prance around like SpongeBob catching the jellyfish, and we're gonna catch every darn little thing that we want to. Doesn't that sound like fun?
Bald eagle opening. How American.
Yep.
As soon as the movie opens, it's a fucking bald eagle. Seagal and native regalia.
I'm going to interrupt already.
Go.
During his Rainbow Warrior sequence, when he's like, they show a quick shot of a bald eagle that is obviously a toy bald eagle.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hysterical. I was trying to clip it for the trailer, but it was too quick. I couldn't get it.
Fuck, that sucks. Seagal and native regalia is amazing.
It really is.
Yeah, it really is.
It's not even native
South
regalia.
Park to make fun of it.
That's like Cracker Barrel gift shop native regalia.
Yeah, no kidding. Like what a cowboy thinks an Inuit ought to look like, I guess.
Yeah.
He's so brave walking directly into fire like that right in the beginning.
With his little stogie, yeah.
Yeah, and his fence that's a shield.
Yeah.
So much so that he lights a cigarette on the rig.
Oh, sorry.
Right.
Yeah. He knows exactly how far to stand from the explosion, too.
Mm-hmm.
One of the bar goons, I don't know if you caught this, guys, but is a goon from The Mask with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, the
Yes.
Oh, I was thinking of the guy from Dumb and Dumber that he beat the shit out of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's bald completely except for in the back. He's got like a long ponytail. It's like braided in the back, and he's like a big jack dude. He's also in The Mask. I've never seen him other than these 2 movies that I recognized. Jennings is such a surface level bad guy that he's a dick to the commercial director, who was the director of Empire Strikes Back, and the cue card holder, just because they I feel like they threw that scene in so that you knew Michael Caine was a total dick.
Yeah, and the flock of meese that smelled like shit. The second he cut the commercial.
Oh yeah. And then he's like, "These fucking animals smell like shit" or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually thought that the best scene in the movie maybe was the torture scene.
Oh, the old guy getting his fucking hand bashed up.
He gets his fingers bashed, and then I think they use a pipe cutter on his penis.
His leg, I think.
Was it his leg? They were pipe cutting his leg.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a big pipe to cut, but pipe logic abound on this podcast,
Yes.
so I believe it.
Pipe cutter logic.
That's going right up. Pipe cutting logic.
Ragdoll Forest blown from the oil site is fucking hilarious to me.
He gets ragdolled like 6 times in this fucking movie. Like in no way that you could fucking survive. Like the
no chance.
The bear throw, like the other explosion, I think.
Yeah, who knows? But
yeah.
Okay. So Seagal says, "If you wait for new preventers, you miss the deadline. I'm a little ashamed of you. Let me ask you something. How much is enough, huh? How much is enough?" It's just so lame. The spirit of the man bear lives within the smoke. I wasn't sure if you guys knew that. But
yeah.
If you
you guys did get the picture of Al Gore I photoshopped into that, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
just dropped it on top of the caption.
Seagal actually says "wanton destruction" in the movie.
Yeah.
Which is becoming a tagline for us.
Yeah. That's a great T-shirt. When people email us with their T-shirt sizes at www.theworstmovieevermade.com, we could do a wanton destruction at the worst movie ever made or something.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah. I kind of said this already, but Forrest is now given the knowledge of the Inuits, which is Raven made bear to protect land from man. Of course, the tribal leader sees a great spirit in Seagal.
Yep.
Of course he does. They haven't revealed his military background yet at this point in the movie where I wrote that. I think it remains kind of fuzzy, right? Because they say he must be CIA or DOD or something.
All we know is that his credentials are, quote, "fuck, he's good," unquote.
Right.
Right. Seagal with sled dogs is also really funny.
Yes. Anytime the man's in motion, dude. It's just funny.
Seriously, it's so funny.
I'm a big young man in motion.
Well, Bob, you so the only reason I'm going to repeat this is you had said this already, but a long diatribe from the tribal chief as he's dying, and Seagal not only goes, "Thank you," and "Goodbye" as a response, but he doesn't ask how the spirit world amulet works that was given to him, where he can go from spirit world to not spirit world. I'd want to know, like, how do you control it? What if I could become like a superhero?
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
I was totally expecting him to poo-poo the spirit world in that one scene and then use it eventually, but he didn't. He totally didn't.
No, he never did. He just poo-pooed it and then talked about how oil is bad for the earth. I thought it was really funny that they had an emergency snowmobile the whole time.
That actually was the only funny line in the whole movie.
Oh,
you had this the whole time.
You had this the whole time.
That bugs me. And she says it's for an emergency, but this is like hours after their chief gets fucking shot. Point blank. When they could have probably gotten him medical attention if they used the fucking thing.
Yeah, seriously. This female character is only going with Forrest so that Seagal has more days on the set with her to grope her.
Yeah.
She's literally along for no other reason that I can imagine.
Yeah.
I want to say this is the movie that he was accused of doing that, but it wasn't her. It was someone else.
All right.
Okay.
It was one of the other naked women.
Yeah. No surprise there. So Forrest and so those two are at like his house or whatever, where he has all the guns in the secret compartment.
Yeah.
And whatever. And the bad guys show up to kill him, and Seagal goes, "Oh look, my friends are here to play."
Yeah.
Like this move he does all the time, like.
Yeah, come on. Oh, is this not fair? You want to put down the gun?
Yeah.
How about I use this pool cue instead? Okay, so Michael Caine says, and I almost clipped this one. Imagine the ultimate fucking nightmare. That doesn't even compare to this guy when he's pissed. Which is another one of the lines that I thought about clipping because it's another one that's just like blowing smoke up Seagal's ass.
Yeah.
Ooh, a secret gun room. We love those.
Oh yeah.
What was that? Commando, right? Where the gun shop has like a secret gun shop behind it where there's like missile launchers and shit.
Well, I love the fact that he goes into the secret gun room and just demands everything he wants out of there.
Yeah, he's like, and he's like, and I think that'll do it.
He said like specifically he's like 12 gauge and all the shells you could find or something stupid like that.
Truth. EOD training is explosive ordnance disposal. Arlie Ermy is like, where'd he get his EOD training? And I was like, what is that? So it's him being able to like get rid of. He's on a bomb squad or something. They don't know where he got that training. Years ago, Forrest made an explosive cabin for a day like today.
Right.
Interesting. Where is he getting all the military grade explosives anyway? I know he was in, but like, where are you getting all that shit? They don't just give it to you.
When you're as good as he is, you just know how to, you have a guy.
You know how to like make it, package it, like label it, all that stuff, so it looks legit.
Not only does he have a guy,
yeah, it's
he's got a guy. His guy's got a guy, but his guy's actually him.
His guy's guy, yeah.
That's how good he is.
That's fucking good, man.
Here's how good he is. He booby trapped a tree so that a guy on horseback would be knocked off. He would fall down a hill and be impaled by a tree branch.
And he had the foresight because that was like a decoy booby trap, right? Because like, he wanted them to see it.
Well,
so they go,
it was like the secondary decoy booby trap.
Yeah,
they saw the original booby trap that they were meant to see, but then they didn't see the explosives that led to booby trap tree branch. Anyway, a Coke bottle silencer. Would that even work?
No, that's a loudener. We call that a loudener, Chris, because it's a fucking giant.
Yeah.
He takes on Jenner's goons, mercenaries, and the CIA all at once, even though the CIA never does anything.
Yeah.
They're just there to heighten the stress, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love how the bad guys are marveling at how good he is while he's killing them.
Billy Bob, right? That scene where like, they're straight up like, "Fuck, he's good." Like,
yeah.
All right, let's go kill him.
One, Forrest isn't susceptible to poison when he puts his hand over his mouth.
Yeah.
Right.
He turns the knob and everybody's like, I guess nobody dies from it, but they're all like, oh my God, it's poison. They're all coughing, but he's just like turning the knob, like holding his hand over his mouth. It's fine. Did the woman accountant, like press secretary lady, did she deserve to die?
No.
Well, she did kill herself, basically. That was the whole like.
It was a whoopsie.
Yeah, I was wondering how that was gonna pan out because she backed the evil people, but she wasn't as evil, was she?
I don't think she was. She was well. So the one line that you were supposed to feel like she was evil, she told Michael Caine that she thought that the compensation for the families of the dead from the oil rig in the beginning or whatever,
it's too generous.
Didn't deserve all that he gave them.
Right.
And then he was like, "Oh, you see why I love this woman? Because like we could have gotten away with. Next time we'll give them less."
Yeah.
Good thing he knows how to quickly blow an oil rig. He just goes in there and starts flipping all these switches, like 100 switches, and then the thing blows up. Yeah. I guess if I ran into an oil rig and I wanted to blow it up, I'd just flip switches too. So who knows? But his was done with purpose. Mine would have been like scatterbrained, like bad guy monologue trope. It's where Arlie Ermy has him dead to rights with a shotgun and decides to just be like, "Put your hands up! I'm gonna kill you in a second." Like,
right? Yeah, that was so dumb.
As if the government is going to let fucking Michael Caine's Jenner's character open the rig anyway after he's blown like half of it to pieces.
Right?
There's no chance. If one fucking nozzle is not operational, they're not going to open it. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, they drive through the gate. The drive through the gate trope.
Oh, so many.
PSA for fucking days. And then last one, Seagall gets Seagall. Seagall gets the girl, is what I meant to say.
Hey, you know that PSA was supposed to be longer. He filmed like 3 times that amount.
No shit.
Of course.
And they test audiences just booed it.
That was like an honest to God, like 3 minutes.
I'm not in the least bit surprised.
It was longer than 3 minutes, I think. But yeah, they filmed a lot more. Like over 10 minutes.
Wow.
Well, that's all I got. You guys want to mention anything before we throw it to Rob's Magic Marvel Corner?
All I got.
Yeah. Same.
That'll do it. Okay, Rob's Magic Marvel Corner.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
Rob's Magic Movie Corner.
Okay, so this is like my 12th or 13th Marvel movie. This is Ant-Man with Paul Rudd and some other guy who I'm going to name after I start answering questions because I had a similar confusion that I had to a previous episode that you'll find funny.
Interesting.
I liked it. I thought it was a fun movie.
Yeah.
We'll get into it when you guys ask the questions, and we'll take it from there.
Bob, you or me?
Yeah, I think it's my turn to start.
Okay.
So, do you, again, I don't watch these, so, but I did find out. Do you know what Paul Rudd's 9-year-old son said when he found out his dad was going to play Ant-Man?
Is it similar to like Chris Pratt's son when he did Mario, and he's like, "This is disappointing."
Basically, he said, "Oh, good! I can't wait to see how stupid this is going to be."
That's fair.
That's awesome. Do you find Paul Rudd as charming as everyone else does?
I think he's self-aware enough to like know what kind of role he's getting into and lean into it with the proper direction. He wasn't Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man 1 like charismatic, but he's zippy with the one-liners. When he's like incredulous to something, it's kind of believable given the circumstances are completely ridiculous. So he's got a really good head of hair, man.
He does.
I envy his hairdo. Like if mine's too curly when it grows out, but if I had straighter hair, I'd probably rock the Rudd.
Rock the Rudd.
Rockin the Rudd.
All right. So along those same lines, I think Chris and I were thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Is Paul Rudd deserved of the sexiest man alive honor?
Wow. I think Bob and I think so.
I think I'll give him that. I mean, like I don't bat for that team, but I could see the appeal.
Right.
If you did, you'd bat 400 at least, buddy.
No, he doesn't bat for that
in the
team.
butt.
He catches for that team.
He just bat for it or pitch.
Yeah, I messed that.
But man, can he catch?
I think I messed that euphemism up. Now that you guys have both pointed it out.
Does Ant-Man's junk science bother you as much as it does me?
I've seen so many Marvel movies in rapid succession at this point. Within the Marvel, the MCU canon, it was the more tolerable junk science I've seen to date.
Okay.
But it's always bothersome to me, but I think they did it well in this one, considering that this movie's basically Iron Man meets Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
The problem, basically the big problem is that when you shrink Ant-Man down and he still has the punching power that you would as an adult man, like he still has his strength. It means that his mass, basically his mass should also increase. So he should be like, 40,000 pounds or something in that little of concentrated pressure per square inch. So when he stands on somebody's shoulder, it should just like shrink to the ground. You know what I mean? Like,
so I gave him a pass on that because in like one of the later fight sequences, it shows
that's
him...
totally wrong, by the way. The science I just said, that was junk science.
Yeah. In some of the later fight sequences, it shows him clearly like take on his regular size, pack a wallet, and shrink down real quick. So it's like it's disorienting enough to the henchmen he's beating up, but
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's punching him with full strength at regular size and shrinking back down before they notice him doing it.
Right. But, like they shrink like a car, and the car would like destroy the concrete it's on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In that
Right.
concentrated like dose of how small it is
Yeah.
compared to its weight. You know, that's what bothered me.
Okay.
So it didn't
All right.
bother you that much.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a fun movie. I had fun.
Yeah, as I was reading about the movie, that was what Chris just mentioned was all over the place in terms of like how.
Yeah.
Anyway, my last question was, what does Paul Rudd have to do with this podcast?
Mac and me.
Yeah, Mac.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. Good
I
call.
want to say when he.
That's really
when he-
funny.
I want to say when he promoted this movie, because it might have been when Conan was just finishing up his run. They did the Mac and Me thing, but they like CGI'd in Ant-Man into the Mac and Me clip.
Pushing the wheelchair off the cliff.
Yeah.
I gotta look that up later.
That's too good.
I gotta look it up, but I was like, oh yes, he's still doing it. Awesome.
Okay, Rob. My last question is: do you know about how Ant-Man was theorized to? So Ant-Man could have beat Thanos. This is not obviously canon. This is just fan theory.
Like
do you
an
know
outlet.
how it is that Ant-Man could beat Thanos?
What's it called when he shrinks down? Like you get I just saw it. When you shrink down, you go like to the way too small molecular level where you can't come back. I'm assuming he would do something like that and get under one of the Infinity Stones on his
Like
gauntlet.
the quantum level. No. They would just shrink him down small enough that he can crawl into Thanos' ass and then expand again. Yep. Do you think that's possible? That's my question.
It's anybody's world, man, in the MCU. I guess it can happen. I do. That was the third question, right? Because I do have something funny that I want to tell you guys.
Yeah, sure.
I know it was Michael Douglas playing Mr. Pym.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was one of those things where like, I haven't seen him at that age with that kind of like get up with the beard and glasses. So I was like, who is that? He looks familiar. And then like the second time I looked at him like with a better shot, I was like, that's definitely Michael Douglas. But at first glance, I thought it was also Joe Montana.
Again.
That's why
Al Pacino and Michael Douglas.
That's why Joe Montana has a staying power. He's just generic looking like old dude.
Yeah, fair.
I think he gets cast in like B movies where they couldn't get the other guys.
Yes, I think you're
Probably.
right.
They have the same
when they can't get Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah, when they can't get same cheekbone, same crow's feet, same vocal affect on the delivery. It's like every time I see him, I'm like, I know it's somebody else, but I'm like, that's Joe Montana, isn't it? And then I gather my sense. I'm like, no, it's not.
And at this point, I'd be getting Bill Pullman if it was me.
Yeah.
But... All right, will that do it? Should we send it to back credit names then?
Let's send it to back credit names.
Let's do it.
And you're the biggest liar of them all. I am warning you. You tell me another and I'll rescue myself. That is a promise, Miss
Rose, Sister Rose.
Of course. Another plant, Rose.
Bad credit names.
Bud Carr.
Nice.
Billy Bob Thornton. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Got to. Bindang.
Yikes.
Lucy Buffet. That should have probably been the winner. Webster Winery.
Okay.
Little Crow. I assume I know their origin story.
Yeah.
Libby Riddles.
Oh.
And then Seago Black Star White Wolf is our winner this week.
Huh.
I also think that they might be Native American.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, you think?
Seago Black Star White Wolf. That's a fucking name. All right, that's all I got. Let's throw it to the movie comparison.
Cool. One thing I wanted to say about my Marvel movie. One thing I didn't like, I wrote it down as Paul Rudd's Goof Troop, like his like sidekicks.
Yeah.
They were really fucking stupid.
What's his fucking name? Yeah. I can't think of the actor's name, but he's really popular now.
All right.
His right hand man is super popular at this point.
Yeah. All right. Now we compare.
Now it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time to compare the movies.
Okay, Leonard Part 6 and On the Deadly Ground. Worst of its kind, negative 58.4 and worst for Leonard, and negative 54.2 and worst for On Deadly Ground. That's almost a wash, but seeing as it's 3.8% difference, I guess we give it to Leonard, yeah? We don't call that a wash. Pitch, a team 5-star for all of us. And Rob, you won this week with a 4-star, so we give it to Leonard again.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if Chris is involved, it's usually a win, so the team wins there. We'll talk about the offensive minigame in a minute. Dialogue, what's worse, Leonard Part 6 or On Deadly Ground?
Deadly Ground. Well, no. You know what? I'm going to go by entertainment. The way I'm going to assess it is by entertainment value.
Yeah.
They both had equally bad dialogue, but I liked On Deadly Ground because there were so many good quotables you could pull from it. So I'm going to say Leonard is worse.
It's quotable, but only because it's so awful. So I'm going Deadly Ground.
I'm with you. I'm going Deadly Ground. Production, bad writing or faulty morality arc?
It's the same picture, Chris.
It looks like nothing at all to me.
The faulty morality arc is a major flaw.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
It's not as bad, right?
It's not as bad as Leonard Part 6.
Yeah, Leonard Part 6 takes this too.
Acting wise, I think On Deadly Ground is worse.
Yeah, I think so too.
It is just from the cue card, reading like the whole bikini underwear pesos $1 million smile thing.
It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
You drop them off in the Arctic Circle, the bikini underwear, and no toothbrush will show up poolside with $1 million smile and a handful of pesos.
That's making our bumpers next season.
Yeah. Unbelievable. I fucking hope so. Demerits Leonard Part 6 probably wins because it's Bill Cosby. What do you got? Steven Seagal is not okay. Steven Seagal, but it's not controversial enough. He hasn't raped a bunch of girls underage or anything. So, that we know of. That we know of.
Yeah.
Okay, 4-2 so far. So it looks like Leonard is going to fucking win again. Let's see how the offensive minigame goes after our bumper.
I can kill you now, or I can relieve you of this gift, this black gift.
The not so mini offensive minigame.
The comedy shortcomings in a Cosby comedy, or Tapping the Tribal Chief.
Tapping the Tribal Chief.
Tribal Chief.
Okay. All right. Leonard leaving Little Lady Lassoed. So if you don't remember, he left his daughter tied up to go save his wife.
Yeah.
Right.
Or executing innocent engineers.
That one.
I'm giving it to Deadly Ground again.
Yeah, Deadly Ground.
Wow, damn. Okay, so we'll go to the bonus anyway. Helli-chopping henchmen from Deadly Ground, or rapey pedophile lead actor.
Lead actor.
I'm just gonna have to go out on a limb and say a rapey pedophile lead actor is probably the clincher on this one. Yeah.
Okay, 4-3. Leonard wins anyway. Leonard Part 6 is still our fucking season champion. It cannot be beat. Bob, I didn't even know about this movie when you introduced it to us, but it is so bad that it is wiping out a season full of clunkers. Yeah. Next week, what are we doing, guys? We're doing Nothing But Trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why are we doing this, Bob?
Another one.
Explain yourself.
Childhood. All right, this has quite the comedic cast. It's got Dan Aykroyd, John Candy, Chevy Chase, Demi Moore.
Oh wow.
Tupac. And Digital Underground.
What?
Yeah,
Jesus.
They're all in it. They're all in it. And it's horrible and bizarre, and you're gonna hate me for this one.
Okay, question. Awesome. Can't wait.
Question. I just Googled it because I heard the name, but I didn't know you were listing off the actors. Story by Peter Aykroyd. Is that Dan Aykroyd's familiar something that wrote this?
Good question. I'll have to research that.
Okay.
Okay, guys, look, I thought I had one more piece of paper in my notebook to write my outline on, and it turned out I didn't have that, so I had to use the back end of my notebook. So I just want you to see how fucking dense my writing had to be to fit it all in.
Jesus Christ.
That's the back half of the catch-all, and then the end of the outline.
Christ.
Anyway, all right. Love you guys. Rob, tell them where to find us, and then Bob's last word. Yeah.
I may have mentioned this earlier in the show, but you can find us
You
on
might have.
www.theworstmovieevermade.com /nothing, because it's just theworstmovieevermade.com. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, email, YouTube, and a bunch of other great stuff. Our new episodes go live every Wednesday at midnight, so really it's like late Tuesday, really, rather than early Wednesday. I always confuse those two. And then our YouTubes go live on Sunday at midnight, which is technically Saturday night. But you know, if you're waking up to it and you're like an early to fall, early to rise, it's Sunday. It'll be Sunday. Yeah. Bob, last words.
I'm gonna go with handful of pesos.
Nice.
And that's exactly what we're going to play the show out with. So let's just go to pesos.
Nice.
All right, guys. See you next week. Have a good one. Thanks for listening.
Try to understand this.
We think we got a fucking fire team out there.
My guy in D.C. tells me that we are not dealing with the student here. We're dealing with the professor. Anytime the military has an operation that can't fail, they call this guy in to train the troops, okay? He's the kind of guy that would drink a gallon of gasoline so he could piss in your campfire. You could drop this guy off at the Arctic Circle wearing a pair of bikini underwear without his toothbrush, and tomorrow afternoon he's going to show up at your poolside with $1 million smile and a fistful of pesos. This guy's a professional, you got me? If he reaches this rig, we're all going to be nothing but a big goddamn hole right in the middle of Alaska. So let's go find him and kill him and get rid of this son of a bitch.
See you guys next week.